Hello everybody, it's Anna and welcome back to my BookTube channel. This video is going to be the second in my series of 5 books you should add to your disability readathon TBR. Today I'm going to be recommending things that are science fiction and fantasy or sci-fi and fantasy adjacent that contain disability representation. So first up, this is my sci-fi fantasy adjacent recommendation, is one of my favorite books, Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. Jen Wilde is a queer and non-binary author that writes queer and non-binary characters, and this is a novel that takes place at a convention. One of the main characters is autistic and has anxiety, and I really related to her journey. I ended up making a video earlier this week about how to survive fan conventions the sensory-friendly way, and I think that Taylor, who is the autistic character's experience at a convention, of it being like this place of great joy and excitement, but also a kind of sensorily stressful scenario, will resonate with many readers. So highly would recommend that. Next up is a graphic novel series that is called Monstrous. The author is Marjorie Liu and the illustrations are by Sana Takeda. This is a story about a young woman whose name is Micah Halfwolf. She is an amputee and a survivor of war and trauma, and this sort of mythological eldritch symbiote, I guess, is living inside of her, and they kind of have conflicting ideas and agendas about what is best for the world and what they each want as individuals versus what is going to be good for them as a unit. This is a really very dark, definitely a mature comic series, but it does disability representation really well, and Micah is awesome and a badass. So there you go. Next is a series that is actually new to me that I found because I was looking around on Tor.com for science fiction that had disability representation, and I believe this series is called The Bone Universe, but the first book is Updraft by Fran Wilde, and Fran Wilde did an interview on Tor.com that I'll leave linked below in the description about writing disability as just a fact of life in her world. It isn't something that is a better or worse way to be than being able-bodied or, neurotypical or something. But yeah, she said that she wanted to write better disability representation in science fiction. And I know that one of the characters in this series has what's called sky blindness. So it's blindness that's caused by cataracts from the fact that they're able to fly at really high altitudes in this world. And people live with disabilities that are caused by various, accidents and injuries from being able to fly. But based off of the interview, I have high hopes that that representation will be written well. Next up is a duology. These are actually my very, very favorite books, and that is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo is herself disabled, and she writes a disabled protagonist in this series. Kaz Brecker has a super tragic backstory, but basically this is a story about a bunch of friends going to pull off a heist together. They are definitely the loners and misfits in their city, and they just sort of band together, and it has many of my favorite tropes of found family and really great representation of queer characters and disability. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend that. You're going to get a little bonus one. I know I said that this was going to be 5, but it's going to end up being 6 because I have 2 more things to recommend, neither of which I can hold up because they only exist in digital form. The first is the Disabled People Destroy Science Fiction and Disabled People Destroy Fantasy issues of Uncanny Magazine. Uncanny Magazine is an online magazine that publishes short fiction in the science fiction and fantasy genres, and they come out with special issues every year that are by disabled authors writing short fiction about disabled people in science fiction and fantasy. I am really excited for the new edition of Disabled People Destroy Science Fiction to come out. I ended up funding their Kickstarter, so hopefully I will have my physical copy of it very soon, but I know that they are available to read on Kindle for pretty cheap, so that's pretty accessible as far as that goes. And then the final thing that I would like to recommend, because we do recommend listening to podcasts or reading Twitter threads and otherwise, letting your reading take place across various types of media, is the Dungeons & Dragons stream Heroes Without Limits. I have a friend, Sam, that plays in that stream, and it is a stream that focuses on disabled player characters played by disabled people. So everybody on the stream has a disability of some kind, and many of them are portraying their own disabilities in their D&D characters and just generally going on adventures and doing fun fantasy shit like you do. So I know that the show live streams on Twitch. However, it is also available like in podcast form and on YouTube. So I will link information down in the description box on how you can find that, because I think that it's something that's really unique and that I would really love to see more of, but it's really excellent. And yeah, I wanted to let you know that that's out there. So that is gonna do it for my 5 sci-fi and fantasy books that you should add to your Disability Readathon TBR. I know that a couple of you have already started making videos and announcements and stuff like that about the Disability Readathon. Thank you so much. We'll keep sharing them, keep getting the word out, because I really want this to have as wide a breadth as possible so that we can get many people reading really excellent books out there. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.